Okay, this reading is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant for the month of June. And first off, let's see, on Friday of this first week here, Friday the 5th, we have the full moon at 15 degrees Sagittarius, and it's a full moon lunar eclipse. I didn't write down exactly what time because it's, it's different depending on what time zone you're in, so you'll have to look that up. And of course, apply it to wherever 15 degrees Sag is in your natal chart. And you'll see what, that area of your life, you'll see what is coming to like a fruition, a culmination, some illumination, some awareness. Yeah, so that's there. And then on the 20th, in the third week here, we have the solstice, summer solstice, so the day that the sun turns back to, comes back to 0 degrees Cancer, and of course it brings in, the first day of summer, and just before that, there's wait, I forget actually which one comes first, if it's actually the sun returning to 0 degrees Cancer, or if the new moon solar eclipse. You'll have to look that up. I'm not remembering, but there is a new moon solar eclipse at the same time in 0 degrees Cancer. I just don't remember which happens first, but I believe that this is going to be a very powerful new moon. Now, new moons are always wonderful for planting new seeds. Now, being in the sign of Cancer, which is like, receptive of the seeds, it's a very receptive sign. This should be really, really wonderful for, deciding exactly what you want. Probably you already know, of course, but then dropping it in and working with understanding that it's already there for you in the spirit world. You just have to open to it and receive it and work to, nurture it in, in the physical realm. So wherever 0 degrees Cancer is in your chart, that's of course the area of life. But with it being, in the sign of Cancer, I would say that just, it could apply to your entire life, and where you're honoring all that is sacred to you, what matters most to you, and learning and understanding and finding new ways to nurture yourself and your family, and all of those that you love, or all of humanity even. But that energy will be with us and carrying us through, I believe, until the end of the year, because eclipses, they flip the energy and they make us more aware of whatever we need to focus on. And they have been known to last for a good 3 to 6 months after they begin. Now, because it's on summer solstice, and because it's in the sign of Cancer, which is a cardinal sign, I believe that it'll be even more powerful and help you in ways to understand, what are the best ways to act, take action in your life, to get what you want, to prepare your home, to get your home the way you want it to be, make sure your family's safe, and just nurturing, having a beautiful home and family. And of course, Cancer honors all of the feelings, the emotional realms, and getting clear of emotional reactions so that your pure feelings can flow, so that you can trust your feelings. So there's that. What a wonderful intention if you want to work that way. That's the way to go. Let's see. Basically, don't ever repress anything. Let's see, and then on the 21st, here in this fourth week, it is Father's Day. So yay. And then with the last two cards here, I drew these just for the 28th, 29th, and 30th, just to not leave you hanging for the end of the month there. So, okay, so the first week here, we have the 8 of Cups and the 6 of Wands. So this is really cool, actually. I mean, the 8 of Cups, of course, she's walking away from something. And traditionally, the card means that you're walking away from whatever isn't working anymore, something that you have given your best to, something that you have done your best and put your heart and soul into it. You know, the cups rule our emotions and compassion and, you know, the feeling body, the emotional body. So when you know you've done your best, then of course, you know, you feel better about it. At least you know you've given it your best. But combined with the Six of Wands, it's interesting. You guys will have to let me know how it played out for you, but I get the sense that many of you are walking away from something, of course, that you've given your best to, and that it brings some kind of victory to you. Now, of course, with this card, it looks like, you know, she's receiving, you know, like she's on a stage, right? And the lights are shining on her, and it is with, you know, with the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. It's definitely a card of getting, you know, recognition and being, you know, winning something, because you've done your best with something, and then winning and then receiving the honors, the awards, you know, the accolades, the pats on the back, you know. So, but with these two combined, it's either that you're walking away from something where in the walking away you'll feel better about yourself because you know you've done your best, right? Because with the Six of Wands, they've done their best. Now, whether or not you get because when you're walking away from other people, you won't get the pat on the back. They're not going to say, you know, I honor your no, I honor your opinion. They're usually, you know, because you don't agree with them, they're usually going to go the other direction or just be silent. You know, doesn't mean that they don't still love you though. But with this two combined, and my question that I always drop in when I'm meditating and then shuffling the cards and then drawing the cards is to ask for you know, guidance from the forces of love, from divine intelligence, from God's source, you know, whatever you want to call it, whatever is your personal way of honoring, you know, all that is within you and without. That's, you know, it's innocent, it's everywhere, right? It's in every cell in our bodies. So that divine nucleus of who you are, that's in every cell of your body and is shining more and more brightly as every day goes by. I've asked what would be the two cards for the week that would give you the most guidance to help you, you know, on your path to growing. So basically, you know, for your spiritual growth. So this can be, I'm reading this more as more of an inward process. There's something, now these could be, with the Eight of Cups, it could be walking away from emotional, reactive places that, you know, that you've been carrying within, and you're finally, you have healed it. You've moved on, and you're moving on. And so now there'll be a greater awareness from the outer world where, you know, all of a sudden people will see you where they may have, where you have felt that maybe, or noticed that they didn't previously. Now you're kind of on stage. It might be a lot of energy to receive. It might be, you know, you might, well, I don't necessarily see Sagittarius as being too shy, but you know, you definitely could be. We all have our shy places, right? So it could be walking away and receiving outer fulfillment. But at the very least, I want you to pat yourself on the back. I want you to say yes to yourself, and good for you that you walked away from something that in the past wasn't working anymore. That you found the end because you've done the best that you could. Especially coupled with this card, I would say that you did do the best that you could. And now you can walk forward in life with more, see the sun's coming up over here, you know, the darkness is, we've got the dawn here and darkness is behind, and we're moving forward into the light where you can at the very least respect yourself in a whole new way. It's a you know, a heightened level of of self-respect and inner awareness and coming home to yourself. With the wreath here, we're coming full circle as to what we will and will not give our energies to. So that's beautiful. Now, with the second week, we have the Four of Pentacles and the Hierophant, Hierophant, however you want to pronounce that. And so with the Four of Pentacles, we're always dealing in the realm of boundaries and knowing like what's yours versus what's theirs. But the Pentacles, we're dealing with resources, we're dealing with values, we're dealing with money, health, body issues, anything and everything to take good care of your bodies. So coupled with this card, I have the sense that this has to do with you creating a structure, or you already have created a structure that holds your boundaries, and maybe for you and your family as well, and your loved ones. But, or at least, just you, that could be the case, where you hold a strong boundary around what your actual beliefs are, what you want to put your faith into. It can be, sometimes it can be breaking free of conforming, where, let's say you belong to a certain spiritual group or a church or some type of a group consciousness where you were learning and teaching, or just being as part of the community, where you've finally come to a place where it's like, wait, I've got myself here, and I don't need to conform, or it could be that you're feeling the limitations, because the Four of Pentacles can sometimes just feel very confined. So it could be that you're feeling the limitations of the spiritual group that you're with, or but I really feel like in the best and the highest levels, it's about having your own like sacred boundary over yourself. Like you have domain over yourself within the group. Like you really know who you are, especially coupled with these, So, I mean, if we just read these together, because we always can, we can hop around. But these two combined can be, walking away from any area where you don't have a strong enough boundary to respect yourself, and then moving with the Hierophant. It's about just letting go of needing to conform, and knowing that your light is within you. It's like, he's laughing here because he realizes, oh, everybody says you got to do this and this and this to find the light, and he's laughing because he found it inside. He's like, oh, that's where they hid it. That's where the treasure is. And so, it doesn't matter what your faith is, if it's any type of religion or not, or this, it doesn't have to be any religion at all. It definitely falls into the realm of belief systems. So limitations around what you will and will not believe in, I think, are what's being questioned for the week. Finding your own way there. Now, I use 5 different decks, so we allow for repeats here, and that's exactly what we have. And we have it twice here, so these are themes. So moving into the third week, and again with the summer solstice and this new moon solar eclipse happening at the end of the week here on Saturday, the 20th. The combo here, especially because this may not be complete here, then it feels to me like a lot of energy comes in, some passion comes through. It could be that meditation has helped you get to a place where you're open and there's more life force flowing through your body, and it's coming in, intensely. And then from there, you open again. There's a greater awareness again of who you are and being in your own inner authority. The Hierophant traditionally can be about learning. So any school, type of, now this could be that summer's over and homeschooling is done, and it frees up the energy to have some more fun or learn about things that you want to learn about or that your kids want to learn about, that is not stuck within the school system, right? Like their curriculum is done and you can do your own thing. It might be that, just, on the literal levels. And then on the spiritual and emotional levels, the feeling level, it's just a lot of freeing energy for your beautiful inner authority to come through and shine, out into the world. So that's really beautiful. But again, you guys, let me know how it played out for you. I love to know. And then on the last week, so the Father's Day, beautiful way to start that week. Father's Day, so the 21st through the 27th here, there's a surrender to love. There's a coming together of love, and can be more than just your partner, or it can be a new partner coming in. It can be a new friendship, a new joining together with just other like-minded people. But at the very least, it's the opening to more, to joining hands, to joining hearts with someone else, or an organization or a community, any type of a group. And coupled with the Hanged Man, there's definitely the surrender here. And every time I see this card, I always think of Stardust Fitness. So I give a shout out to, say, Joe. Hi, Joe. Anybody that wants to have silks in your home, if you want to do aerial fitness, look her up. She's on Instagram, and I believe her website is Stardust Fitness. But you can find her, and you can, I think, for a mere $100, you can have your own fitness where you can hang and stretch and work out, and she has programs and tons of videos to help you get started, and so anyway, that's really cool. Whenever I see that, I think of her. Whenever I see this card, and she is very spiritual, and she's very, very surrendered, to her process. So this card so much reminds me of her. So anyway, with the Hanged Man, it's a surrender to the divine order, the divine intelligence of the cosmos. You can see these are rune symbols here, and it's kind of, it's like more of a Nordic, spiritual system. But the inner light, of course, it's within, it's everywhere. But she's looking. He or she, no gender here, but it's the consciousness and energy where you're going to look at things from a completely different angle. And I believe it's going to have to do with love relationships, or the things that you love in your life, and how to bring more love into your life. So this is wonderful. This, I especially love the way this artwork was created by Chris Ann when she did the Light Seers Tarot, because in this one, she's not hanging by, the Hanged Man is, in traditional tarot, is hanging by one ankle. And even though, hands aren't tied or anything like that, it's a surrender. It's often a suspension of something. So that may be the case. But in this one, I like that there's more control. She's reaching for what she wants. She's surrendered to the cosmos. She's surrendered to her higher self. And she's looking at things from a different angle so that she can question false beliefs. And she's trying to look at false beliefs from all the different angles to see where they came from and to question their validity. Anytime you're not sure if something's true, you have to bring it inside and ask, is it true? Is that really true? And usually it's not. If it's coming from a dualistic either-or attitude, it's not, and it'll cause pain in your life. And so oftentimes when we are in pain, we're brought to our knees. We're brought to a place where we have to just stop and go within and feel the pain and understand, how we've created it. And when you do that, every time you do that, you have so much help and support from the universe to help you, to get inside of your beliefs and your truth. And that is such an empowering process, because if we're not independently thinking for ourselves and going within and asking the right questions, all of these cards relate to that as well. I mean, if I were to look at all of these cards as an overall theme for the month, I would summarize it by saying it's a month of searching for false beliefs within. That is your work, your process, and not giving away. Don't give away your authority to other people, right? It's up to you what you want to believe in, and it's up to you what you want to do with your life and the direction that you want to go. And as long as you're always looking for the truth, there's absolute truth, which is that we are living in a universe that is absolutely bound to receive us in all of who we are. It's bound by law to receive us and mirror back all of our beliefs. But it's also created in love. It's a state of love that is, the web of our existence. And of course, we don't see that all the time. Often, probably more than half the time, or at least half the time, we don't see that. But that's because we're here on the planet with our brothers and sisters, all of humanity, and we get to, you get to come, everybody, all of us, each one of us, we get to come here with all of our false beliefs. And of course we create, mistakenly, misguidedly from the false beliefs. And, like if you believe there's not enough, or you believe that you have to have a certain amount of money, or you have to look a certain way, or you believe all these, false beliefs about what you think you need to do or be or have in order to have love and approval from the outside world. Well, that'll just keep you spinning in vicious circles to work that one out. Because anytime we look outside of ourselves for approval, we are giving our power away. Now, that's not to mean that we don't, make adjustments about how we treat each other, of course. But when things are negative in the world, that's because somebody, the powers that be in that certain realm, or all the people that are with that person in power, they're working through power mismanagement issues, and we're learning to not trust people like that. So it's always an inside job. Come back in. You'll find the humor in it when you get there, which I'm sure you already have. Otherwise, you wouldn't be walking away from somebody else's from someone else's, accolades on you. It's like, this is kind of like, well, it's not kind of like, it is I don't care what other people think about me. I can shine on my own, and I don't need anybody to see me doing that. I don't need to be rich and famous. I don't need to be beautiful. I already am all that to myself, right? And then you've got yourself in a greater way, and it's actually kind of funny, but you're going to go deeper, and the power within you opens up. And then you open up to even more love, and then you want to drop in and say, wow, okay, so now what? More truth. I want more truth. So the last few days of the month, we move into more of a meditative, quiet state, I believe. And I know with Sagittarius, you guys are fire signs, and there's a lot of, energy and movement that you like, to be in. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can bring it in, especially with these two cards here coupled. These are very surrendered meditative cards, where you can go inside and be with the High Priestess is your higher self, your intuition, your willingness to drop in and ask the forces of love for which way to go, especially coupled with the Two of Cups. The last week, I would say from Father's Day to the end of the month, has to do with opening to more love and to finding your way in all of your relationships, period. Doesn't matter which relationship. So, okay, I think that's all I have to say. And I want to thank everyone for subscribing. I so appreciate all the new subscribers and the old ones for hanging in there with me. Thanks for being part of my tribe. And let's see, yeah, drop in comments, questions if you have any, and or if it's a personal question, feel free to email me. My email address is down in the description box, and your website address is there. You can see all that on the screen, I'm sure, if you want a personal session, personal reading. And yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll be back in July. Take good care.